Hello. Welcome to the February 1st mini healing. I'm Summer Jones and I am glad you're here. I think it's going to be a really good night. I'm already seeing some familiar names in chat and a few new people too, which is cool. So tonight we're going to do 3 healing pulses. And then we're going to do some individual healing, and we will end with aura strengthening. And as always, I've got my little book where I keep track. Would you believe tonight is show number 187, and I've had a heck of a day with not getting things to work. I had a client today in my tiny house office, which usually most of my appointments are online, and I couldn't get my heater to work. So I had to cancel. Yes, frozen, as Beth says. So that was very disappointing because yesterday I had prepped and made sure that the heater worked, and it did. And although it didn't seem to be warming up very quickly, at least it was warming. And today it wasn't at all. So horrible. But anyways, I do have a different camera instead of my laptop camera. I'm not sure if I quite like it. The laptop has me a further distance from you guys, but my new camera, well, I've had it a while. I just haven't used it for my lives. Okay, so Harmonious has said there's issues with me going in and out. Is everyone else like that too? I know most of you are here from Facebook. I've got, most of you are here from YouTube. Huh. Well, that's not good, is it? So will it let me, I'm going to stop my video and see if it'll let me switch cameras. So hang on. Okay, well, at least we have sound because we've had that issue before. All right, so I'm switching over. Oh. Okay, so I'm back to my laptop camera. So let's see. So how is that? Is that any better? I'm going to just see if... Okay. Well, we will try that out. So I wonder if it's my internet, although if my audio is good, that is so annoying. Okay, well, I guess you guys don't really have to see me anyways, as long as you can hear me. Yes, that's the important part. So, here, I thought I was being so smart switching cameras, because part of, if you're into recording stuff, my laptop camera only goes up to 720 and my other camera goes up to 1080. So in about a minute, we will start with first healing pulse, and we'll do a couple more throughout the night, and we'll see how that goes. And then I've got my little book. So if you were here last month, I started something a little bit different, where if I release a trapped emotion, I also give you a positive emotion to put in. So, and Vatha says, kind of like a strobe light, but the sound is fine. Well, that is pretty horrible. But you know what? This happens. Usually when tech goes wrong, that means you guys get more free shows, because then I'll go and test something after I've made some changes. Because on my end, when I view my video, there was sort of a pulse there. So I've got some camera lights going on, but when I look at them, they're not. Ooh, you're right. When I focus on my background, I see like the strobe kind of thing. Interesting. Well, thank you for sharing all my little tech issues. I need an assistant for that. I think that would be good. But let's start with our first healing pulse. So the wonderful thing about the healing pulse is it goes to where you direct it to go. So if you have something physical going on, that's exactly where you want to send the energy. If you have something emotional, I want you to think about where are you feeling that emotion. So if you've got anger, is it like in your belly, or is it just in your hands? Or because wherever you feel the emotion, that's where you're going to want to send the energy. So I want you to rub your hands until they're warm. Place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. And then imagine my hands on yours, so you're getting your own healing frequencies plus mine. And the most important part is just be open and allowing the energy to flow. And so just breathe in, breathe out. When you breathe in, imagine that it's going a little deeper with each breath in. With each breath out, you are releasing. Maybe you're releasing something that you're done with. Maybe you're releasing something that isn't even yours. So just breathe in and breathe out. In and breathe out. Okay, so that was our first healing pulse. If you noticed anything, if you could put something in the comments, that would be appreciated. Most people feel more on their second or third healing pulse than the first. So yeah. So let's get started. So as I said, we're going to try doing this sort of new and improved way of doing things where I release a trapped emotion, but I also find a positive emotion to instill within you. So last time it seemed to take a little bit more time. Welcome, Anne-Marie. Glad to see you. So I printed out a list that is smaller because usually I use my negative emotion list that has like over 400. So I think I'm going to use my list that has 60. And we'll see. Most of the time, that's fine. I do like the 400 because there's such a huge variety in the types of emotions. So who's going to go first? So thank you for sharing the comments. All right, so got my book. And for those of you who have been here before, I write things down so that way I can sort of keep track of who's going to, what order we're going in and what we're working on. Okay, so Miriam's going to go first. Okay, so she wants to look at the causes of binge, overeating, gaining. Weight loss is one of the hardest things. For a while, I was doing a group on it, And we released so many trapped emotions, but it was hard because everyone was so different. Okay, so harmonious, clear, money, financial, stability, blocks. That's a good one. Tug of light. Okay, neck and right shoulder. So, Tug, I hope that you used the healing pulse on at least one of those areas, and I hope that helps. So, Lily, difficulty losing weight. Mia, pain, left hip. Okay, and Fatha, financial, career support. And then Nick, anxiety, self esteem. So when you give two things like anxiety and self esteem, I'll look to see if we can do them together or if we need to do those separately. And generally, we focus on one if we've got a lot of people. Every once in a while, I get a night that's really quiet, and then we'll usually go around a couple times. Okay, so Ayla, am I saying that right? So sometimes if I have trouble with names, I write down how to say it from a previous, but where's it? Isla. Okay, so Isla, recent breakup, hoping to work things out. I think that was your thing last month, wasn't it? Things. Alicia, solar plexus, Sub-Z wants to do the same as harmonious to clear money, financial stability blocks. Good tug of light. Now, if you can't reach a certain spot, you can imagine your hands there. All right, so Kinney or Kinniel, I think for now I'll just call you Kinney. Pain right hip. Hello, rose petals. Be sure you put in the comments what you want to work on. Okay, so Ayla is Ayla. Thank you for that clarification. Okay. Natio Is it Jala? Hala? I'm just going to call you Nate. Root chakra. Rose petals. Spasm chin mouth area. That doesn't sound good. Okay, so tuck blade added. Neck, shoulder, right sacral dip, knots, pain, all connected. So I'm going to put sacral too. All right, so I think I've got it right. I'm just going to make sure. Harmonious, thank you for your instruction. That is very helpful. So I'm just going through. Oh, Anne Marie wants to work on courage. I think that's a nice one for you, Anne Marie. Okay. All right. So here's everybody I wrote down. So because I am my own assistant, I am not always perfect. So if I miss you, I'm so sorry, but please let me know. Here's everyone that I've got on my list. Miriam, Harmonious, Tug of Light, Lily, Mia, Fatha, Nick, Ayla, Alicia, Sub-Z, Kinney, Nate, Rose Petals, and Anne Marie. Now, if I missed you, please put yourself in the comments. So we're going to start with Miriam, Harmonious, and Tug of Light. And so we're going to find the trapped emotion that is contributing. And then I'm going to find a positive emotion to replace it. So, I've got a few more to put. All right, so Colette. So I'm going to put exhaustion. There is a lot going on energetically out there. So no, it's probably a mix of things. If you feel extra depleted, Marie Claire too, extra exhausted. Extreme fatigue. Okay. All right. So if you are still watching because you're not quite sure if you want to do this, that's fine. At any point, you can go and add. Yes, and Fatha. Lots of things going on. Sort of crazy. So, okay. So Miriam wants to know if there's underlying reasons for binging, overeating, and gaining weight. And I do get a yes for that. So let's see. All right. So first off, for Miriam, I'm getting we've got an inherited trapped emotion. So that means it's passed down through the bloodline and it's the energy of terror. So let's get a little bit more and then we'll clear it. So I'm looking to see where it came from in Miriam's lineage. So I'm getting it's your father's side. Let's start with father. No. go back one more. Grandparents. So your dad's dad is where this started. And so sometimes when inherited trapped emotions happen, sometimes it doesn't affect everyone. But when I clear, my intention is to clear everyone affected from the source on down. So Miriam is going to help clear this. And so, especially, I know there's a number of people in chat that have healing abilities. When we are going to clear, I would appreciate assistance because that makes it a more powerful clearing. Otherwise, I can clear, but I've found that sometimes there's some residual energies that are left over. All right, so, and usually inherited trapped emotions take a little bit more effort and energy to clear. So let's go ahead and clear terror. Time to focus in. And so if any of you want to lend support to Miriam or whoever else is up, that would be fabulous too. I like it when we all support each other. So, and in the meantime, I'm going to put a little comment on here from Subsea. So thank you for that. All right, so Miriam, I did get that's released from your family. Let's find a positive trapped emotion or a positive emotion we're going to instill within you. And so the one that we're going to imbue within you is sensational. And with that, sometimes I give a little bit of commentary, but with sensational, I imagine that is going to describe your life and all that entails to have a sensational life. So we're going to fill any voids with the energy of sensational. So if you want to bring that in, Miriam, wonderful. Oh, and Colette mentioned about the energy of the supermoon. Yeah. Sometimes it really affects people. Sometimes it depends on the person. Okay. Harmonious is next. Harmonious wants to clear money and financial stability blocks. So let's see what can help. Wow, this is a first. 2 inherited trapped emotions in a row. And this one's creative insecurity for harmonious. So let's find out where this came from. So harmonious, this is from your mother's lineage. And then I'm going to say see if it's, did it start with mom? No. Did it start with her parents? Yes. Is it mom's mom? So it was your mom's dad, so your grandpa. So let's hone in and release creative insecurities for harmonious. So honing in, releasing, removing for all family members affected by this. Okay, so that did release. So that's it. I think it's going to be an unusual night. Usually it is a unique night when one inherited trapped emotions come up. And now we've had 2 in a row. Sorry, little Dexter thinks he's got to sit right next to me and be under the covers. Because, of course, we have blankets everywhere for little dogs. Lay down, Dexter. Ooh, this is a good one. So for harmonious, we've got the word strengthened. And so I think we're going to fill all the voids with the energy of strengthening. So, and making money and financial stability even stronger. So that's sort of cool. All right, so tug of light. Issues with neck and right shoulders, but it also sort of goes down along to her sacral too. So let's see. It's the energy of unworthy. Let me get an age for that. Tug of light, I'm getting around 22. Now, ages are the hardest, so I'm getting like 21, 22, 23. Some type of, I don't know if it was a single event or if it was a longer term thing where you felt unworthy. So let's go ahead and reach in and clear that energy. And Harmonious just gave some feedback about the creative insecurity. So that's pretty cool that is something that she's had for a while. Fabulous, Harmonious. Thank you for that feedback. So, Tug of Light, we're releasing unworthy. And let me find out what we're going to replace that with. Oh, this is a good one. Tug of Light. I'm getting the word that you're going to instill within you is invincible. That is very nice. So we're reinforcing and instilling invincible in Tug of Light. Wonderful. So we're going to do our next healing pulse. But when we come back from that, we're going to do Lily, Mia, and Anvatha. All right. So with the next healing pulse, start with rubbing your hands together. And then place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. Now, if you don't have a certain place that you want, sometimes I suggest send it to your third eye. Sometimes I suggest your heart. Or if you're looking to increase your power and energy, your third chakra. All right, so place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. If you can't reach it, imagine you can, and then imagine my hands are there too. And just allow the energy to flow. Now, if you're a person that enjoys breath work, this is the exact time to do that, I often suggest people do the box breath. So just breathe that energy in. Allow. Releasing as you breathe out, letting go. So just imagine. Breathing in and allowing. Breathing out, exhaling, releasing. Okay, so that was the second healing pulse. Let me know how you did. Tug of Light just commented on, because we got unworthy around age 22. So I guess my question about that ballet company, was there something about you being there that made you feel unworthy, or was it the culture, or was it a certain person? And so make sure that you work on releasing that in relation to whether it be the company or a person or how that worked. So Lily's having difficulty losing weight. So let's see. So I am getting that there is an emotional reason why. Let's see what that would be. So I'm getting the energy of panic for you, Lily. Let me get an age. Getting like age 26, so 25, 26, 27. Let's go ahead and work on releasing that. So releasing panic for Lily. Okay, so that did release. Now let's see what we're going to fill that void with. Get the energy of trusting. That is a nice one. Because sometimes these negative trapped emotions take away all our trust. So we're going to go ahead and instill trusting. So next we've got Mia. She's got pain left hip. Let's see what we can do about that. So Mia, I'm getting the energy of unsupported. Let me get an age for that. Getting around age 19. So 18, 19, 20. That's a pretty common time to feel unsupported. So unsupported could be unsupported by family, friends, work, or even like the universe, where you just don't feel the support for whatever or whoever that you need it from. So let's see what we're going to replace. All right, and the positive we're going to replace that with is unbiased. And so we're going to make sure that unsupported gets gets released, and unbiased. So sometimes unbiased, I think, means just opening up your mind more to allow what you need to know to come in. And Tug of Light posted a little bit more about their experience. Yes, I can imagine that. Very competitive. But that energy had stayed with you. So I'm glad that released. All right. So next we've got Empatha and then Nick and then Ayla. So Empatha wants financial and career support. So let's see what the blocks are. Welcome, Amy. Glad to see you. Okay, so I'm just going to get an age. So I've got the energy of terror for you, Empatha. So I'm getting like age 13. So 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there. So let's go ahead and release that because there's a piece of that that's still with you. So I did release. And let's see what we're going to replace that with. All right, so it comes up with the word judicious. And so I sort of know what that means, but I'm not sure how that works with instilling it as a positive trait. Okay, so it means having or showing good judgment instead of making decisions. Implies a careful and wise approach to actions or choices. So I think that is great, Empatha, for you to instill and allow that within so that your decisions feel really good. Wonderful. All right, and then Mia posted about what she felt when we released that trapped emotion. Chills on the right side. She had issues with pain, left hip, and sometimes things are opposite. And when you ask about your dad, Mia, I do get yeses. Your dad, families are tough. And then there's a little bit more from Tug of Light. Intense about going deep to clear and heal and be empowered to assist others. Yes, it's fabulous. Okay, Nick is next. So Nick has issues with anxiety and self-esteem. So I'm going to just see if we can do those together. And I do get yes. So let's see what comes up as something clear. So I'm getting grief. Let me get an age. So I'm getting a hue's like 14. So 13, 14, 15. Now grief can mean, death, but it can also mean loss of something. Say loss of a friendship. Sometimes there's loss of family where sometimes if there's a divorce or if there's a move, loss of your home because you've left it for something else. So we're going to just hone in and release the grief from Nick. So that did release. And then we're going to see what we replace it with. And Mfatha did say that was about the time his dad left his life. Yep. And so there's a piece of him that has grief about that. Let's see what we're going to replace, fill that void with. And it's the energy of being prepared. And so when I think about that, what does that mean? So we released grief. But I think being prepared also encourages you to dream about what's next. And so if I'm expecting this to be next, how does that look like? What does it feel like? Are there things I need to do now? Or do I just need to allow the process to go through? But part of it is thinking things through. That's sort of a cool thing. All right, so next we've got Ayla, Alicia, and Sub-Z. So we're going to do Ayla, and then we're going to do our third healing pulse. So Ayla's got a recent breakup and would like to work things out. So let's see what comes up for that. All right, so Ayla's got an energy called overjoy. On my list, which actually came from the Emotion Code book, it's the only thing on the list that might be considered positive, but it's in such a huge amount that it is negative. So overjoy. Do you ever get the feeling where you are so excited and so excited and so excited that it's over the top too much? And it really, in the end, oftentimes you're disappointed because you let your expectations just go way pie in the sky too much. So let's release that energy of over the top. Then what are we gonna replace that with? Ooh, it's one of my favorite new words. It's invincible. And so we'll link these. So releasing overjoy and being over the top lets you be invincible in a very real way, Ayla. That is pretty cool. Okay, so next we're going to do our third healing pulse. And so if you've done the first two, don't really have a place that you want to send the third healing pulse, as I said before, heart, third eye, or another area that needs more strength, like pick a chakra point. All right, so rub your hands together. Just breathe that energy in allow. So breathing in that healing. With each breath in, you're allowing the healing to go a little deeper. With each breath out, you're releasing. Okay, that was the third healing pulse. Let me know how you did. And you want to comment on Fatha's comment about terror. So sometimes terror is like horror movie terror. But in other circumstances, I've found that that can be a little bit too much. Maybe it's you're sort of freaked out about a certain thing, and it's that energy of, oh, but it's not really what I call terror. But I've had enough people who have given me what was going on during that time. And for me, it's not really terror. It's just a really tough time where they're a little freaked out about certain things. So, okay. Alicia is next. She wants to work on her solar plexus. Then we've got Sub C and Kinney. All right, so let's see what comes up for Alicia. I'm going to age. So, Alicia, you're about 21, and it's dealing with creative insecurities. And sometimes this doesn't mean being creative like artists creative, but ideas and thoughts and being able to share with your partner, with your boss, with your coworkers an idea. So let's go ahead and release that because that makes it harder to be open. So releasing and removing. And then let's see what we're going to replace that with. Oh, this is a nice one. We're going to replace it with being open hearted. And so imagine creative insecurity sort of closes, but open hearted allows and is more of a sharing kind of thing. So, ooh, I like that. Okay, so I've got Subsea next. Subsea wants to work on clearing money and financial stability blocks. So let's see what we've got with that. So, Subsea, I've got inherited too. This is a record. This is our third inherited one today. Oh, and it's probably my favorite trapped emotion to say. It's wishy-washy. Um, and so, Sub-Z, I'm wondering, in your family, do some people, including you, have trouble making decisions? Are you back and forth and back and forth? or do you just not make decisions? So let me find out where this came from. So I'm looking for if it was your mother's side. So I'm getting it's your dad's side. So let's see, did it start with dad? No. Did it start with your dad's parents? No. Did it start with your dad's grandparents? Yes. And then is it, so this would be your great grandparents, sub C. So one of your great grandpas. So let's go ahead and work on releasing that, releasing the energy of wishy-washy, and we want to release also from anyone in the family who has inherited this. Wow, Light, thank you for sharing. I'm glad that that third pulse resonated with you. Tears are generally a sign of truth and release. So I'm really hoping that helps shift things. Okay, so that released for sub C. Let's see what we're going to replace it with. Oh, I like this. It's the energy of united. And so it makes me think that money and financial stability is more helpful or likely with partnerships and family. Wonderful. So reinforcing that. So I've got Kinney, Nate, and Rose Petals next. And then I've got Anne-Marie, Colette, and Marie Claire. And that's my list. So if you have not posted about what you want to work on, or if I missed you, please put it in again for me. All right. So Kinney has pain right hip. So let's see. So Kinney, I'm getting taken for granted. Let me get an age. Getting like around 28. So 27, 28, 29, something in there where you felt taken for granted. So let's go ahead and release that. Because that definitely makes things harder to move forward in your life. All right, so Amy, I'm going to add you for stress and anxiety. I'll check. When it comes to it, I will check and see if we need to do those together or if there's one that's more important than the other. All right, so we're going to find a positive emotion for Kinney. This is interesting. It's the word forceful. So I'm taking that to mean whatever you want, you need to be more forceful. You need to put it out there and go for it. So we're going to reinforce that. Okay. Nate wants to work on root chakra. Oftentimes, root chakra is your base for everything. So, safety, security, things like that. So, let's see what we can do to help Nate. Ooh, it's the trapped emotion of vulnerability. That would make sense. Let me get an age for you, Nate. Ooh, you were 7. So you were really little. So somewhere 6, 7, 8. Oftentimes at this age, sometimes it's yours and it's legit. Other times, because you're 7 and you don't always understand certain things, it might be that you didn't know the full picture of things in an adult way because you were 7, or because you were 7, you were very, very close to someone who was experiencing this and you absorbed their trapped emotion of vulnerability. So let's release this because this gives you hardship moving forward and being strong. So we're going to release and remove vulnerability for Nate. Okay, so that's released. And then we're going to find a positive emotion to fill that void up with. Oh, it's the energy of committed. So I think going back to the energy of vulnerability, even though you're vulnerable, you need to commit to certain things and commit in a big way, even though it can be a little scary. Very interesting. I hope that helps you, Nate. All right, so Rose Petals is next, and she's got spasms, chin, and mouth area. So I'm hoping you were doing the healing pulse for those areas, Rose Petal. And I hope that it gave you at least a bit of relief. But let's see, because I am getting there's more to it than just doing a healing pulse on it. Wow, another inherited trapped emotion. Unsupported. So let's see where this came from. So it came from your dad's side. Did it start with dad? Ooh, it started with dad. So if your dad has other kids, they could possibly have this too. So we're going to work on clearing all of the energy of unsupported. Thank you, Rose Petals. I'm glad you did that. So clearing unsupported from dad, from any of dad's kids or grandkids. So we're following bloodline. Sometimes things are past life, which is not inherited, and that's a little different. All right, so that released. Let's see what positive thing we're going to replace that unsupported with. Oh, I like this. Euphoric. Huh. So I wonder, releasing the unsupported helps you be euphoric, because I imagine a person who is euphoric is happy and almost celebratory. Um, I like that. And with that, think about being euphoric, rose petals, and imagine the energy going from the tips of your toes on up through your body, through your chin and mouth area, and out, and just flushing anything unsupported away because you are so filled with euphoria. That is sort of cool. All right, Anne Marie. Anne Marie's looking for courage. So let's see. First, I'm going to look and see if there's something that is blocking her courage. And I do get yes. Huh. It's the energy of stubbornness, Anne Marie. And because I sort of know Anne Marie, I don't imagine her having this issue. So then I ask, is this somebody else's that she was very close to that has affected her? And I do get a yes. So let me get an age for you, Anne Marie, and I bet you'll know whose energy this is. And then we're going to get rid of it from both of you. Oh, Tug of Light just wrote something really nice. So she's got finding out my own issues. I can make sure I clear those for my 4 kids. Really powerful stuff you're doing here. Thank you, Tug of Light. I'll talk a little bit about my practice and what a regular session would be like, because there's some of this, but there's also a lot more. So I'm getting an age for Anne Marie about the stubbornness that is not hers. So let's see. You were like 39, Anne Marie. So I bet you know who that was. So let's go ahead and clear stubbornness from you, especially since it's not yours, but it's been affecting you for quite a long time. So let's going to release and remove stubbornness. Okay, so that, and then let's see. So we're going to instill and encourage courage to be super. Thank you, Mfatha. That is wonderful. So we're going to instill courage in Anne Marie, but we're also going to instill being kind. And part of it is Anne Marie is a wonderful person, but I think she's hard on herself. And she deserves kindness from everyone, including herself. So we're going to instill courage and kindness, because life is going to be easier without that stubbornness that wasn't even hers. Ooh, Rose Petal just wrote something because she had issues with her chin and mouth area. Very cool. Now, here's my disclaimer about, especially like the Healing Pulse. The Healing Pulse can do some amazing things. And if there is enough energy, the Healing Pulse goes to the issue that you sent the energy to. If there's enough energy, it will go to the root cause. But oftentimes, there's not enough to do both. And so sometimes it can come back, but because we also released a trapped emotion connected to that, I'm hoping, Rose Petals, that that really made a difference. But just know stress is a trigger. And so if we didn't get to the whole entire root, because sometimes roots have layers, it might come back. And that's for any of us here tonight, that stress can bring things back. All right. So next we've got Colette, who's dealing with exhaustion. Let's see. I'm getting taken for granted. That's been one of our themes for tonight. Let me get an age for you, Colette. I'm getting like age 26, so 25, 26, 27. Taken for granted. So let's okay, and Colleen has posted looking for vagus nerve healing. All right, so I'm getting a positive emotion with Colette. Oh, I like this one. All right, so we released Taken for Granted for Colette, but we're going to add the energy of just being thrilled. Because that energy of being thrilled pushes out the exhaustion, because it's a mix of excitement and exuberance and happiness. So we're going to instill thrill in Colette. Very cool. Oh, and Marie, thank you, thank you. All right, so we've got Marie Claire and Amy and Colleen next. And then we'll probably do some little follow-ups with things, and then we'll do aura strengthening to end. All right, so Marie Claire's got extreme fatigue. Let's see what comes up for her. So Marie Claire, I'm getting the energy of terror. And as I said before, terror is sometimes really extreme, but other times it's more of a short-term kind of thing. Oh, fabulous tug of light. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a fun one to do. Because I think especially if you pay attention to the good luck and the bad luck, you know when things flip-flop for you. All right, Marie Claire, I'm getting something around when you were 16. And as I said, ages are tough. So I'm thinking 15, 16, 17, somewhere, something in there. Terror. It's not always terror, as I said, like horror movie terror, but sometimes it's just sort of something sort of freaked you out. So let's go ahead and release that energy. Oh, I like this one. Yes, that's a wonderful thing to feel invincible. Yeah, lots of negativity for lots of reasons. All I'm hoping that helps. Just the positivity of making changes. Oh, here's another one. All right, so Marie Claire, we took out terror. We're adding the energy of wonderful. I like that. So we're going to instill that within you. Okay. Amy and Colleen are next. And that's the end of my list. And so if I didn't say your name and you put something in, if you could put it in the comments again, because I missed you. I do apologize. Someday I might need an assistant. So far, it's going to be just me. Oh, Amy, I've got this as an inherited. This is the biggest night ever for inherited trapped emotions. Wow. So let's see. Wonder if the new energies are shaking things up. Unworthy. So, Amy, does energy of unworthy, do you feel that runs in your family? I'm getting it's your mom's side of the family. So let's see, did it start with mom? Yes. So this could affect, so you're definitely your mom, any kids of your mom, grandkids, great grandkids. I don't know how old your mom is. So so let's go ahead and release that energy. So we're going to release it from anyone in your family that's affected. Releasing unworthy from Amy's entire lineage that's affected, because not everybody is affected. Good. So I hope that makes it easier for all of you. Okay. Well, but releasing it from her, even though she's passed, is helpful, because then it releases anybody related through her bloodline. So let's see what we're going to replace the unworthy with. Ooh, the energy of graceful. I like that, because that unworthy, that sort of just it makes my heart hurt when I think about people feeling unworthy. And graceful, that makes me feel more peaceful and kind. So let's go ahead and instill that. Oh, and look at what Mvatha has said. Yeah, because it's really rare to have even one inherited trapped emotion. And tonight we have had 5, which tells me things have shifted. So, because sometimes when I go and search for inherited generational trapped emotions, it doesn't come up because the timing isn't quite right and the layers. But tonight must be just the right time for this. So Colleen wants to work on vagus nerve healing. So we're going to see if there's any blocks. So I'm getting the energy of shock for Colleen. Let me get an age. So I'm getting around age 23, Colleen. So 22, 23, 24. So let's go ahead and release shock. Huh. So the positive word we're going to replace shock with is respected. And with respected, I think of calm, I think of relaxed, and just easy. Because I think when you're respected, a lot of it's doing the right thing. which I think we as a culture have sometimes gotten away from that. So I think we're just going to instill respected for Colleen. Wonderful. So did I miss anybody? I hope not. If I did, it wasn't on purpose. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what a private session entails with me. So the cost is $150. Generally, we'll go for an hour and 15 minutes, but it's not uncommon, especially for our first session, to go long. And if we do, there is no additional costs. So to start, I usually pull a healing oracle card. And then I also have been adding in a somatic exercise card, which I'm not sure if I'm going to keep doing that, but it seems like somatic healing has been more of a trend. Doesn't always fit in with what I do, but there is some breath things that keep coming up that make me think I need to do that. So then we work on 3 things that you want to change. And usually they can be physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, or relationship based. And so we'll work on those 3 things. Now, part of the session can involve dealing with trapped emotions. That is one of my tools, but I've got about 30 different tools that I use. Most healing sessions, I use like 3 to 7 different kinds of tools to help make the changes. And they can be very simple, like what we did tonight. My goal tonight is to help as many people as possible in as short of a time. And during a private session, that isn't quite as important because we've got time. So we also deal with trying to think what's the most common thing. During a first session, a lot of people have some subconscious splits that we'll work on rejoining, and we'll use some tools. I've got one called kinesiology list that comes up with all sorts of very interesting and unusual things that I call sort of my woo-woo list. But I also do energy work too. And if energy work does not come up during the session to use, I always add it at the end, because we work on everything that you want to work on during your session. But at the end, I pull in the energy work because that connects to the divine. And sometimes the divine wants something totally different for you than what's on your list. And so that way we attack what's going on in your life from both directions, from the divine and from your conscious self. And so then we've got that session. And then about a week after your session, I will reach out to you and see how you're doing, if you have questions. And I also do a short little automatic writing. And then also during the week, I've added something where if you have some troubles, because sometimes people, as they're transitioning through the healing process, need like a healing pulse or have questions. So I'm also available for that. And then I also do some past life regression. I do the Dolores Cannon method, the QHHT, or the Candace Craw Goldman method, which is BQH. Usually I do sort of a combination, and that's connecting with past lives, future lives, the in-between life. And then part of the session is also dealing with what kind of questions do you have? Like, we can go in and ask, what's your purpose? Are you on the right path to your purpose? Have you had past lives with your partner? Are you missing blocks of time? Or do you have dreams that you keep having recur that you don't understand what they mean? And so a lot can happen during a regression that can really change how you interpret your life. So, and then there was someone that had a question. So Lily asked about accepting Zell So I typically don't use Zelle. Zelle is something I use with my family, but but I use just about any other type of thing. So I've got, the traditional PayPal, Venmo. Um, I've taken payment through Facebook Messenger. So I'd be open to Zelle. It takes a little bit more to set up. Oh, and Mia just posted. Does anyone have any questions? You guys have been really fun tonight. Lots of really good things that came up. So, usually, because it used to be, I would do the positive emotions as a totally separate thing. And at the end, we would talk about the positive things that came up because I would like to borrow some of them. So, here's the things that came up tonight that were positive: sensational, strengthened, invincible, trusting, unbiased, judicious, prepared, invincible, open hearted, can't read my writing, united, forceful, committed, euphoric, kind, thrilled, wonderful, graceful, and respected. So I think I want wonderful, euphoric, invincible, and strengthened. I think those are my words for tonight. So, Rose Petals wrote, "My breathing is easier." Fabulous. I love to hear that. So, thank you guys for sharing too, because I do like that validation. And I don't think I missed anybody. I'm just going to glance back. Oh, and Marie Claire. Let's see. So let me look up hers. So Terror 16, that came up as connected with extreme fatigue. Fabulous, Marie Claire. Sometimes we don't remember, but the good thing is if we can clear it, it's not as important as knowing. The importance is releasing. So let's go ahead and do our final aura strengthening. So why this is important is because a strong aura helps repel negativity. I think it keeps us stronger. And so with this, you can use your own healing energies, but if you are not confident in that, you can pull in healing pulse energies if you want. But if you don't already, I would like you to use your own healing frequencies. Oh, and Duncan's going to say hello. He's been sleeping, haven't you? Yes, my little Duncan. So I want you to rub your hands together. And then I want you to start beaming energy out to your aura. And as you're doing this, imagine it getting thicker, more protective, stronger. And then I also like to add a hint of reflectivity. And so what that does is if someone's spewing negativity, it bounces some of it back. Now, the thing is, you don't want a full wall of mirror around you because people run into you. And especially when you're driving and walking, you don't really want people to run into you. So a hint of reflectivity will bounce things back to whoever's spewing. But the easiest thing is just sort of get farther away from them. And so we've got this big, beautiful aura that you're making just a wonderful, safe space for you. I want you to take your positive emotions that you heard tonight and what do you want to put inside your bubble? And so some people fill it up with unconditional love. Some people fill it up with the emotions that we talked about tonight. So fill this up with things that will help you the most. And Marie Claire, when I tune into the instant you're thinking of, you are correct. That does seem to match up. Now, if you're considering having a session with me, but you're just not quite sure, I do give free consultations through Zoom, and most of my sessions are through Zoom because I'm in northern Minnesota, home of snow and cold and some other more unpleasant things right now. But Zoom is a fabulous tool, and as you saw tonight, a lot can happen through remote healing. But thank you everyone for coming. Just looking through. I think we had a really good night, some really positive things. So I appreciate you showing up and all your help and feedback that you posted. Have a fabulous night. And I hope to see people March 1st. Yes, the first of every month.